Hello, everyone. I'm Marco, and just as we said in the previous talk, don't present yourself. It's important because you'll see. I'm Marco, and I will be very fast on the first slide. So I'm also a consultant, and this brings me to the next slide. I was engaged with working on urban digital twins for the city of Bologna, and that means data. And we all people here, we love to work with data, but as always, there's a slight catch. We have a huge problem with data, most importantly when there is not only one owner of the data. So we have problems with origins, we have problems with formats, we have problems with data structure, we have problems with completeness. Even if the provider is the same provider, we have problems with the coherence in the structure of the data sets across several years or several time slots. So we also have other kinds of problems with data. We have problems with data transformation, meaning how did you get this data set? Well, I took the data from here and there and smashed them together, and something happened, and then I have a new data set. So what is the value of that data set? And it's often difficult to explain that even in very sophisticated context, it's difficult to explain that the quality of the data set and the quality of the data transformation is important. So we have an additional element, most importantly with our fun urban data, the urban digital twin, that was starting with a huge number of people around the table, municipality and so on and so forth, and consultants and other actors involved in the decision-making process. And so we have a huge problem with the data connected with their stakeholders. And most importantly, within those stakeholders, we have an additional issue that adds up to all the problems that we already discussed. That is non-technical stakeholders, because they hate to work. I mean, they love to work with data, but Excel, sometimes it's tricky because it doesn't explain the complexity of the world around that data set, because the person that gave me that data set is, and so we have a huge amount of issues that come around us, and yeah. So the providers gave us already a huge amount of data of cloud infrastructures, which involved CCAN for open data, for publishing the data sets. We got open metadata to manage the metadata for the data sets. We had a huge pipeline to transform the data sets, and everything was so cool and automated and awesome. So we took that, all things connected, and said, okay, very nice, but let's go back to the drawing board. What do we need? We need something that is human readable and writable in data descriptors that can be managed also by developer. We need something that enables us simple data quality metrics, because the data evaluation made by several tools that are already on the market are very interesting, very fascinating, and they get an Excel file, generate an Excel file, and so you give that to a non-technical and he cries. And we need to be able to read heterogeneous data sources and heterogeneous formats. And most importantly, formats that come and data structures that on the same data set change over time. We need to integrate something like open metadata, Airflow, MLOps, CCAN, Jupyter, Pandas, and whatever else. But we need to do that in a way that an end user, a non-technical end user, can understand what is going on. And that is the most complex part, because again, that makes us cry, because it's huge, it's complex information, it's stuff made for big data operations, and oftentimes, most importantly, with open data, we find ourselves with either smallish data or tiny, really tiny data. And so having a huge infrastructure, huge complex system is cool, is amazing, is needed to transform that data with MLOps into something that can be used for machine learning, for data, for machine learning, and yeah. Bologna, what else? So all these elements make every operation very interesting and very complex. But in general, it's huge. So again, let's stay on the drawing board, but let's switch up the operation and let's switch up the question. What makes non-tech stakeholders happy? First of all, not talking to tech people. This is the first thing that makes every non-tech person very, very happy. Second step is to have something like a descriptive space, something that where the people can write high-level descriptions on every aspect of the data they want to manage, that are not treated as notes, like the classic field on a shapefile or on a GeoJSON where there's notes and whatever the hell that there is in there. But we need something to help them help tech people, because in the end, also non-tech people are good people too. So we can also hug them and treat them well. So they want to treat us well because in the end we help them, and yeah. So what if we took the most important shared platform to do that, or better, MediaWiki, the platform underneath. So we started working with this and said, okay, we have a space where you can write, you non-tech people can write the description of the single data sets, of the single elements of the data sets. But how do we add additional information? So we added up Semantic MediaWiki. So we started meta tagging, describing all the elements they wanted to define. Obviously, the main element in this is the fact that we're using something that is user-oriented and user-centric and user-driven, so that the people can interact and work with that data in the best way possible. In addition to that, we have, as I said, we added Semantic MediaWiki, and so we started working on the huge collector that is the data collector for the Bologna Digital Twin, where we have, let me show you the main elements. We have all the main pages are driven by Semantic MediaWiki. So we describe all elements as complete entities that are semantic entities within the system, and we can see the graph, and we'll see the graph in a few seconds. So we have the all the data providers and all the data infrastructures described as specific elements, semantically the defined elements, and all the data sources are described both with their name as well as all the attributes that define them, and their specific format, so that that all these metadata collections that we have can be imported directly into data transformation and data analysis tools. In addition to that, we defined the concept of data containers, which means, for example, we have exactly on this platform, we had some data that was coming from the open data platform of the municipality, so completely available to anyone. And on the other hand, we had data that was provided directly by the municipality privately through the open metadata platform, and through their direct access to the S3, through the data space that we were working on. So we defined the concept of data container, which means it's not just a data set, it's a data set that collects data from multiple sources and verifies if they're coherent or not. So suddenly we have something that is slightly more evolved than just the definition of one data set, one shapefile, one CSV file, and one element. And in addition to that, we also did, by the way, obviously all these transformation, all these descriptions are done via templates, via Wikipedia templates, so that the users don't have to define additional elements, that they can use just I can show you the working example in a few seconds. But basically, we also added a few elements for the end user to be able to work on that data directly through thanks. Live. We added additional elements to be able to help the end user, non-technical end user, to work on the data directly through the description of what they want from the data set. So for example, this is a description of a simple data filtering process that says that we want to create a new data container that has a filter and takes from the data source basicenswaria istat and filters the procom, the field procom, based on the value 37006. So basically, this addition, I don't know if it's visible. Anyway, I will be sharing the slides on the node as well. So this generates basically a new data container that can be then used for other operations. And this brings us to the data transformation. This is a join. It is a data container that is not connected to one specific source or does not apply one specific operation. And it creates, it can create multiple joins. In this case, it creates just one join that says the left part of the join is the basicenswaria, so that we have a shapefile with the connected information, with all the information of the areas that we want to, that we care about. And we're using the basicenswaria istat Bologna, which is the already derived file, the already derived data the data container. We use the left column sets, which is one of the fields of the shapefile. On the right side, we're using the occupati and occupati studenti suddivisi per sezioni di censimento, how many people are working or studying in the various areas. And the column is sets 2011. And this generates the possibility for an end user that has no knowledge of the information that they're working on, or no knowledge of software to work on that data, to prepare a data set, or even a technical person to prepare data sets and already connect the information based on the fields that are already described within the data sets they already have. So that basically we have a simple data lineage system that enables us to say, we take from basicenswaria istat, filter it to Bologna, add occupati studenti, and transform it into something that is usable, which is a map, which is something that can be shared, a GeoJSON file, WMS, something that is reusable without having to work on CSV files, without having to work on other elements. So the problem is the semantics. So we added some of our multiple experiences. I did not spend time on myself at the beginning. I come from an experience in software for digital humanities. And so we had a problem with data quality and data reliability and source precision, basically. And working on digital twins opens up to this discussion because for example, here in Italy, we have the amazing ISTAT. They have an enormous amount of data and the fascinating data as well, which means we have data sets about the structure of provinces and regions from 1861 until now. They were reconstructed based on historical data sets. But, for example, the information about the municipalities is missing. So there is a whole process and a whole series of elements that is missing and starts being collected around 1985, again, reconstructed all the way back. And so we have the problem of data source reliability and source precision, high level of precision, but maybe in certain periods of time, not so much in source reliability. Many of us came from the open data experiences on in Italy based on Spaghetti Open Data, and the Open Knowledge Foundation love for the Open Data Index that I miss so much personally, that helped us understand what metrics could be used to evaluate the quality of a data set or of a series of data sets representing a slice of the world. So the semantics is a huge issue, and it is being worked on right now. It is a work in progress while we define all the details of the project itself. So, but we have all those tools. Is it just one more tool in the bag? Well, yes and no, because it's a tool, but it's not intended to be used from a technical point of view, because we created, we also created some userland Python scripts and Python tools that are integrated in the system, and that enable the syncing of that data towards platforms that can be reused, that can be used for technical and let's say more technical aspects. So we have MediaWiki, Semantic MediaWiki, and the ontology that describes the world underneath, that connects to each other, and through work with frictionless data and pandas and geopandas and other tools as well, we transform those data sets and synchronize the data that is collected and described in non-technical, not so technical ways on the wiki with open metadata, CCAN, and ML ops, so that they're happy and they can do their magic with writing their Jupyter Python notebooks and geographic information, so that they can be easily visualized. And it will be open source very soon. So, well, that's it. If you want to chat with me, I'll be around. Thank you.